So we start. A very warm welcome here to the talk of Anna Sundermann from Leuphana University Lüneburg with her talk about Heads Up for Internationalization at Home Experiences from Mainstreaming Virtual Exchange Courses. Yeah, very welcome, Anna. Nice you are here. And you brought some very interesting information for us, I heard. So you will start with your talk. And for all the other people, Anna, maybe you can mute yourself because I hear some background noises. Yes, perfect. Just some organizational things for you. So Anna will have a talk now for like 20 minutes. And afterwards, we all will have time to discuss and answer questions. You can use the chat to put your questions and also some comments as you like. If you need more time to talk or exchange experiences, you can find a network table afterwards of this session. So there's still a lot of more time to discuss things. We will explain how to find the network tables in the very end of the session. So if you're interested to continue the discussions, we will explain it in the end. Yes, and there's not much more to say from my side. We are very happy to have you here, Anna, and yeah, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much for this nice introduction, Tina. I'm going to talk today about Heads Up for Internationalization at Home. And my talk is about the experiences we gained in a project that aimed for mainstreaming virtual exchange courses in the master complementary studies and doctoral courses at Leuphana University here in Lüneburg. And we will, I'm going to first talk about the international dimension of these virtual exchange courses. Second, I will introduce you the digital components of it. And then I will show you the courses we developed, give you some insights. And in the end, I will reflect on the 5 key lessons learned in my current role as a curriculum developer and digital facilitator at Leuphana Graduate School. As you can see, later on, we will also meet at a networking table. So there's plenty of time to reflect also with you together, which I would really like. So let us start with the international dimension of virtual exchange courses. I propose that nowadays an internationalized curriculum should be the basis for all students. And some students will extend that through international mobility. But this means we have to prepare all students for working and decision-making in a globalized world and enable them for their current roles as active citizens. I'm convinced that internationalization cannot be the objective itself, but it is a strategy to enhance the development of transversal competencies, and in our case, that is intercultural competencies. You might have known, or you might have seen this. In fact, there are 2 pillars of internationalization. Internationalization at home and abroad, cross-border internationalization. And there's a well-known definition by Bellin and Jones who say that the purposeful integration of international intercultural dimensions into formal and informal curricula for all students in domestic learning environments. So, however, in the past, internationalization at home has been often restricted to just the mere integration of international students and guest scholars into campus life and activities, and also integrating global dimensions and perspectives into teaching and learning. But with the rise of digital technologies and to make internationalization more accessible, the strategies became more and more enriched by virtual and digital activities. And this now is the second component of my talk, so the virtual exchange. There is not a modern area in society that is not transformed by digitalization. We have heard a lot about that yesterday and today as well. Often scholars hope that digitalization would revolutionize teaching and learning in higher education. and that it would increase learning success for more students, and that lectures would be unnecessary, for example, in the future. But in Germany especially, digitalization is not strategically used. And also we don't know how to unlock the full potential. So the project I'm talking today about started with the idea that we wanted that all our students are prepared to deal with the globalized world in future, also the students who can't go abroad, also prepare them to going abroad, and also to combine that with digitalization. So the project is called Digital Teaching and Learning Courses for Internationalizing the Master's Complementary Studies and Doctoral Courses at Leuphana. In order to foster the acquisition of intercultural competences for more students, so at the master's and doctoral level, the aim of this project is to use the potential of digital teaching and learning innovations systematically to reach more students. And the idea was to specifically conceptualize, test, and evaluate different combinations of digital and international dimensions in courses for the master and doctoral students, and also to do that together with two other projects at our university, together in a digital lab. So these other projects aim for bachelor students and internationalizing curricula for bachelor students, and also at our professional schools. So we have, like you see here, a table of professionals, cross disciplines, and also connecting administration and the departments. And let me show you a little bit what we did before. So in the past, the graduate school pursued traditional forms of internationalization. That was traditional elements such as literature, local and international guest lectures, and also the engagement with local cultures. But there were a few challenges that we discovered. So only a minimum of the content really showed the global perspectives or the diversity. And then also the analogous integration of international lectures was very resource intensive and not very sustainable because we had a lot of fluctuation. And then the global classrooms that we tried before, so very few, there were less students from abroad attending these global classrooms, and so it did not exploit the full intercultural potential. And we also faced a growing community of international master students and doctoral candidates. So, well, we thought of what to do. The new strategy involves now more virtual exchange formats that can be categorized into roughly 3 different prototypes of course formats. So in light purple, you see here done the multi-perspective so-called e-learning seminars. They are highly digitalized and moderately internationalized. They come in or use mainly blended learning formats and with a multi-perspective and global content. And well, the presence of the lecturer is minimized, but we have a lot of digital facilitated peer collaboration. And then in a little bit more purple here, we have the digital expert seminars. They are moderately internationalized and moderately digitalized. And here we also use a lot of blended learning. We have international expertise coming from guest lecturers invited through digital or self-recorded lecture formats. And also this prototype always involves global learning outcomes. And then on top, we have virtual global classrooms here in darkest purple. They are highly digitalized and also facilitated via digital teaching and learning scenarios. And here we want also often that master students and doctoral candidates learn together. This is another complexity added to these formats. The lecturers are international. We have 2 or more partner universities involved in this. And now I'm going to show you some really, like some of the examples we developed. So the first one is The Good Scientist. This is a blended learning course using the flipped classroom format. Its learning goals are learning about research ethics from an Anglo-Saxon perspective. And an interesting key feature is that we have here, the learning is really in so self-learning, but we also digitally facilitate peer-to-peer success groups. And interesting is also the assignment here. We combine it with game-based learning using dilemmata games, and assignments are collected in an e-portfolio. And then here we have data and organization. This is another interesting example. It is an open educational resource on a WordPress page, and Hannah Trittin, the lecturer, she invited international colleagues to give their perspectives on datafication. And they are all, each session, a new international scholar gives his or her perspective on datafication. And also she used another interesting key feature, and that is facilitated peer grading. Here I have an example of a global classroom that is called Lost in Translation. And here we even increase the complexity because we have students from Brazil and from Germany learning together. And they are learning about post-colonial aspects of social science methods. So here we have this international learning objective. And we developed new ways of knowledge production based on the practice of art, activism, and indigenous practices. And some of the key features are, we have a Brazilian-German team teaching here. We use live translation from Portuguese to English, and a digital live sessions with indigenous leaders in Brazil. That's also interesting. And assessment via video ethnography to overcome also the language barrier between these 2 courses. And here is another example of what our strategy involves. This is digital European summer school between the KU Leuven, University of Glasgow, and Leuphana University. We have master students and doctoral students learning together about understanding strategic uncertainty in future academic working environments. We have virtual keynotes. We have the students working on the future of academic work in higher education in Europe. We have online reflection spaces in small peer groups, and we invite the students 6 weeks before to a smaller event where they get to know each other, and they will continuously work on Ignite talks they will then present in the main event in summer, July. So now you've heard a lot about our strategy and seen some examples of courses. And I'm now going to reflect on what I've learned as a curriculum developer and digital facilitator, but as well learned through interviews with the lecturers and a pre-post study with the student. This is still ongoing, so I'm still learning, but after 1.5 years, I already learned a few things. So we have 5 main challenges. The elephant in the room is the institutional commitment. The sometimes really problematic of establishing international partnerships. Sometimes the lack of resources, then the lack of digital literacy and pedagogies, and also the challenge of diversity. And so I try to find also solutions for these problems and challenges, and I'm now going to give you some inside experience on how we handled these challenges. Getting the message through the institution. This is one of the key features of institutional commitment. So this digital transformation lab that we established here at Leuphana has a lot of advantages. We already have interdisciplinary scholars from many different disciplines involved here. we have administrative staff as well as researchers and lecturers together. And then it's also across all schools and across all departments that we are working here. So we have a lot of exchange on all these levels. But what I find most interesting is that you have all these stakeholders that you need to get the strategy through and also to establish the strategy. Constant communication is really important. And what you also have to have is supporters, ambassadors at the management level that, you know, like spread the word through to the departments. And what we did is also established a roundtable with the cluster people working on internationalization to also gather the experiences and also the solutions that we found to working with all the stakeholders. And this is now a really personal reflection. As a curriculum designer, I think you are really a strong driver of change, because what you need to do is constant networking and communication to all these stakeholders I've shown you. And a good starting point were always lecturers that already did research with international partners. And we established them as ambassadors of change, giving back the experiences into the institution and showing how it can be done and giving some experiences. And to establish new partnerships, a flexible attitude was really necessary to handle all the communication, and also agile project management and lateral leadership skills were necessary to handle the stakeholders. And it requires also links at all institutional levels, not only at your institution, but also at the other institutions, because there you will also have contact with the legal teams or the digital facilitators. And that helps in mainstreaming and establishing these partnerships. I talked about already the lack of resources. So what I mean here is that mainstreaming these courses is you need technical resources, for example, digital tools and platforms. And the lecturers will need guidance with these tools. So having them prepared, our teaching service did a really good job. So you as a digital facilitator can hand over this really great resources to the lecturers. You will need a lot of legal resources. So your legal team will need some cases and to also work on the legal basis of this, because you need to exchange data with the partner universities, and that requires your legal team to work out new cooperation agreements or data protection regulations that need to be shared, and that needs a lot of time. So be prepared for that. And then human resources. So it would be great, or would have been great, to have trained student assistants helping the lecturers with digital moderation, for example, as it is here now in during we have facilitated digital communication here. And also the lecturers said in the interviews that their job sometimes required many new skills, such as video cutting or getting the digital resources ready. And if, for example, you have someone who can help them with their WordPress pages and the constant technical support these pages need, that it would have been helped a lot. And so last but not least, you need to sensitize the students, because there will be issues of trust in these kind of seminars, especially in the seminar with the Brazilian and the German students, where you have a lot of inequality in terms of digital facilities in Brazil, for example. And issues of communication can be a problem. So we work with icebreaking events, we work with code of conduct, and also a lot of constant reflection. So we minimized sometimes also the content of the lectures to overcome these complexities and sensitize the students. And also reflections midterm through the seminar helps a lot and work with the students and let them work out the solutions. So these here you see that train the trainer and sensitize the students is really two key factors that we need to or that you need to do if you wanna mainstream it. And I need to fasten up a bit, I think. So I will now come to the last slide where I wrap up by quoting John Hattie, who published influential research on facilitators and barriers of learning. Hattie found in a huge meta-study that despite all technical equipment and digital innovations, the teacher is still the most important predictor of learning success. So I don't want to disappoint you here. That does not mean that digital internationalization is pointless, but we need, however, to keep in mind that the why of digital internationalization and virtual exchange as a course is the most important thing. You need to think of the why you want to do it. Our aim was to foster intercultural competencies, but as long as the learning outcomes and the objectives are aligned with the assessment and the teaching and learning approach, and also the whole strategy is aligned with the learning outcomes on module level and also on school level, with the assessment approaches, more and more students in terms of it will make a difference for the students. And I think that we then also prepare them for working and decision-making in a globalized world. That was a lot of content, and I hope that we now will have a good networking table discussion, and also that you have some questions prepared for me, and that we can now come into a discussion together. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, thanks to you, Anna, for the very interesting talk and informations about what's going on in Lüneburg. I see already one question in the Q&A section in our chat here. So if you like to have a look on the question, there is an anonymous person asking, how do you cope with different Semesterzeiten at additional locations? I also don't know the translation actually. Like semester starts in October at Leuphana, but September 1st in another country and so on. Yeah. Do you already like to answer it, Anna?
Yes, I can answer that. Yeah, that is especially in this course, for example, between Brazil and Lüneburg, that was a problem. But what we did is that we, I probably can go back to that slide. So what we did is that we have the seminar in Brazil started in February, and we will start in April. So what we did is that we let them start, and then we have some weeks where they work together, and in the end, the students will optionally also again work together, but that we handed over what they already did in the seminar to the students here, and that they will continue working. And we also did that the lecturers are a bit more flexible than the students and the Semesterzeiten, so they will visit the other course actually. So so we have digital facilitation, we have also these outcomes the students in Brazil prepared in the first few weeks of their semester are handed over digitally to the students here. So here actually the digitalization helped a lot with synchronizing, or not, you know, like with the asynchronous times, but it synchronized their working process. Yeah. Yes, this is also a really good question. Yeah, this is really a problem. Like having, so our platforms here and the platforms, well, in Brazil, for example, they don't have any platforms yet. And at the moment, we are still struggling finding a platform that is okay for our data protection regulation officer, and where we can allow other students to work with our students. So we are working on a legal basis to having actually a platform that is allowed, that doesn't send all the information somewhere else. And this is really key learning that in the future we will need a platform that our lecturers can use for these courses, and that will also reduce the working or the resource intensivity these courses need. Because also we learned that the WordPress webpage that we needed before, and where we needed extra data protection regulation information, for example, that also increased the resource intensivity in preparing these kind of lectures a lot. So there's another comment in the...
Yeah, there's a solution, a suggestion from Silke Kirberg from Hochschule Niederrhein. We invite our international guests in our Moodle.
Yeah, thank you, Silke. It's interesting because I grew up in that area, that they have a solution. That's really funny. So our professional school already has this international Moodle where they can invite. But for us, because of some legal matters, it's not possible, but we are actually working on that, and actually also trying to use Moodle because our lecturers are already using it, and that would be easier and not introducing another platform. Okay, probably that would be great, Silke or Bianca, if you could provide us with the legal basis for this, because we are struggling really with that. If we could go to the network table, that would be really great. Yeah. Thank you.
Very nice. If here are no more questions at the moment, so I would suggest.
Okay, I see.
No problem in Switzerland. Yeah,
Switzerland. Leuphana is really strict, but it's also, I think it's also great we are protecting students and lecturers from providing their data all over the world. I don't know. Like, there are both sides to this, but this, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. We have 2 more minutes for this session, so I would suggest, if there are any more questions or you like to talk more to Anna, please find her now at the networking table. How do you find this? So you see on your screen on the top right corner, it's named Zurück zur Lobby. Should be also even for the English-speaking people in German on the surface. So you go out of the session and then you find like the normal program, and in the on the right hand, there's networking table or Netzwerktische. Click that, and then you have to find that special table, which is named Heads Up for Internationalization. And this is Anna's table. Click on that, enter it, and you will find Anna there. So we all have to leave the session to find the networking table.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Yes, perfect. And I'm just checking if we have some more questions here you can take to the network table. But no. Okay, so you directly go to the network table, and yeah, then just thank you very much, Anna, to you for the nice contribution here for the University Future Festival and your insights to Lüneburg. Yeah, thank you very much also for all the attendees here for listening, and yeah, see you on the networking table now.